Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Gaming Podcast, the podcast where we chill and talk about gaming and nerd culture from the casual's perspective. We're happy to have you here as we explore our topic for today, live action roleplay. Tonight we have some very special guests joining us. They're co-founders of the Shooting Star Larp. Please welcome Holly and Nick.
Hello.
Hi.
But first, as always, let's introduce our hosts. I'm Kitty.
I'm Uni.
And I'm Roxy. Alright, let me give you a rundown of what we have in store tonight. We will begin with our discussion with a deep dive of the Shooting Star Larp by Zed Games. Then we will hop into a trial of the tabletop game set in the world of Asteria, kindly hosted by our guests. After, we will take a deep dive into the intricacies of LARP. Finally, we will close out the night by ranking the races of Asteria.
Awesome. I'm so excited for this one. So, Holly and Nick, why don't you give us a bit of, a rundown of what your LARP's all about? We want to know everything.
All right. Yes, we made a LARP. Well, Nick, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So what we set out to do, I suppose, LARP is something that has been around like the geekdom for the better part of 40-ish years now. And we have quite a few locally, but kind of none that have updated themselves in the last 30 years. So we kind of wanted to see if we could take a crack at it. So
we wanted to see if we could do it better.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying it. Yeah.
Not necessarily better, but better for the community with which we're a big part of.
Yeah. So a lot of the inspirations that we took for the game are very much like the 80s fantasy movies that we grew up with, like The Dark Crystal or The Neverending Story, Labyrinth, Legend, and that kind of thing. And we kind of wanted to roll that together into like a live action setting where it's far more focused on the narrative and the fantasy within that kind of narrative, and make it this like fantasy opera that people can come and play in real person as.
Be the heroes that they always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that line. Be the heroes you always want to be. So,
That's a tagline for sure.
Yeah.
That you put on
Not even our tagline.
It's not even our tagline. It's almost stolen from the LARP that got us all started in loving LARP, which is Alliance LARP. They are fantastic. They've been running here in Alberta for, God, I don't know.
Almost 10 years.
10 years.
And internationally, they've been running like 40 years. They're one of the big boys.
Yeah. And it's where we all got our love for LARP, and we honestly wouldn't be there without them. And their tagline is, be all that you can't be.
Whereas ours is, welcome home. We can't wait to meet you.
That's also just so heartwarming. So what is your favorite part of the Shooting Star LARP?
Oh, favorite part. That's a tough one.
Planning long-term plot that we know is going to break our players because it's very touching storytelling.
Sure. Primarily, one of my personal favorite parts about our LARP is we worked very hard to make sure that we were building a game that would be safe for all people to come and play, specifically people in the LGBTQIA community. It's been something that, because a lot of the LARPs haven't been updated, it's just not as welcoming of a space.
Oh, I'll take that shot. It is.
Okay.
It is very terrible.
Nice.
It is very well known amongst the LARPs that it's very terrible with the LGBTQ as well as like people of color and a lot of those kind of minority communities. And we wanted to make somewhere that was safe for everybody to play, and it's kind of focused on that with how the world has been changing around us and should be changing.
Yep. And one of the ways that we accomplished that, we have 2 races in our LARP. This is the favorite part that we're getting to now. Mm-hmm. We have the Rainbow Elves and we have the Chimerans. The Chimerans are a half beast, half humanoid creature. They're very new to the world. Something that just started happening within the new magics coming about. And they are the entire race is a love letter from us to the trans community.
Yeah. The person that wrote them also wanted to make them a love letter to the trans community as a trans person themselves. So.
Yeah. We have actually more than one person on staff ensuring that we are being as sensitive and as positive as possible. So we have consultants from the Native American community, people of color, lots of people from the LGBTQIA, just keeping us all in check to make sure that we're putting the best product out possible. And then the Rainbow Elf was written as kind of a subrace of the elves, and they have bright colors all over their faces. And it's written in the rule book, which you can find on our website, that it's an opportunity to fly your flag. So it was an opportunity for people from the community to come in proudly as they are and not feel any shame or any danger whatsoever. So it was one we were very proud of. One of our business partners, one of the other owners, actually wrote the whole race, Angela, and she did a fantastic job of capturing the deep set affection that most of us who are part of the LGBTQIA community feel.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part.
That's really refreshing to hear, as I find that many like pockets of nerd culture can have like a lot of gatekeeping. And
Yeah.
I would imagine that, I guess, like getting started into LARPing would probably be something that's kind of intimidating for somebody.
Oh,
as
it
it's
is so
it's sort of like,
intimidating.
especially when it's such a, as you said, like established community. For a lot of these like LARP places have been there like for 40-ish years.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's the gatekeeping can be actually a really big problem within LARPing communities, and a lot of the LARP communities have worked really hard to work against that. And it's something that we wanted to get ahead of with our game to make it as welcoming as possible, because it's intimidating. It's, hey guys, let's go out into the forest,
And
dress up as fantasy
elves.
creatures, and beat the crap out of each other with styrofoam weapons. It's going to be great. You don't worry, you'll figure it out when you get there. It's a very intimidating prospect.
Yeah.
Do you have sort of like a orientation process for newer players?
We do actually. Nick runs a spar, typically weekly. It's been a little tough lately with COVID, but we run a spar. I shouldn't say we, it's really all Nick. But basically it's just kind of an intro to what combat's going to be like. It's also an opportunity to get to know a lot of the regulars.
Yeah. It's also some pretty good training because I come from the world of live steel combat. So we train safety first for any kind of combat that we do, obviously, but to make sure that it's fun. And you get some actual like sword training that way.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic. And it's interesting that you bring up COVID because I know you guys have transitioned part of your LARP, because you guys were set to launch right when lockdown started. But can you tell us a bit about the transition you made to the tabletop version?
Hi.
I'm passing that off to Nick because it was,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Actually,
horrific.
as part of the background too, Holly and her other partner were having a conversation about, this is like December last year that you guys were having this conversation about like, oh, it'd be so much fun if we like built our own LARP. And my other partner, Angela, and I were having a conversation about also building our own LARP. And we had a conversation of like, I wonder if we could do it. We kind of came together and said, I wonder how long it would take. So as a laugh, I was like, I'll write up a rule set and see how quickly I can do it. And we launched February 1st with everything. So we had our entire rule book done, which was not just me. That was our whole team working and pulling together. But we did it in 2 months, which I was super proud of. And then a month after we like launched it, we were like, okay, it's going to be March.
April was going to be our first.
April. It was like
Yeah.
April 23rd or something like that. And like 2 days before our game was like when lockdown went serious.
Yeah.
And it was nice because we got our deposits back from like the places we had rented for the game, but it was pretty devastating, obviously. And we already had a pretty big audience from the other LARPers throughout town and that kind of stuff that were now dealing with like isolation from the social circles that they were already with. So we were going through a lot of different ways of like, we were hosting karaoke nights on Fridays to kind of get people together and make sure everybody was being social with each
On
other.
Twitch Sings, we should say.
On Twitch Sings, yes.
Yeah, it was not in person.
Yes, drinking our adult water.
Our adult water.
Because it's Twitch. And I was kind of keeping an eye to see what other LARPs were doing, because I personally thought, like, LARP is kind of the next evolutionary step from, like, Dungeons and Dragons. So I think, I was personally thinking, like, if we were going to do something that was not in person, that we would just devolve the game into some kind of tabletop form. I have yet to see another LARP do that. I've seen a lot of LARPs that just kind of said poof for a while. I've seen a lot of LARPs that tried other stuff like forum role plays or Discord role plays, and it just wasn't working. So I turned around and I kind of wrote another game.
And that was all you.
Yeah.
We were all devastated by COVID, and Nick kind of went, no, I'm not going to take this laying down. We're doing something.
Yeah, so I wrote a tabletop version of the game we had already made, which is a lot less work than it sounds like, simply because most of the work had already been done. I just kind of had to write a supplemental book to make sure it worked.
Yeah. Which it did very well. We're actually running currently 4 tables?
4 tables,
Yeah.
4 full tables.
Every
which
month.
is nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
And we have room for more. We have room for more if anybody wants to join.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and with that, you guys have kind of developed a little bit of a teaser for us, which I know we're all excited to try.
We indeed have. If you guys want to play a short little game here,
I mean, I know I
I
will.
will. You guys are that's the only reason you're here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody have D20s?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got one out.
So all you need to play this game, especially just for anybody at home that wants to check out the website and look into joining our games, all you need is a D20. There it is.
That was adorable. Zhoop, in frame.
But it's, as with everything that Nick has worked towards with our gaming company, it is easy. It's super easy to hop into. It's super easy to play. What's the saying that you use?
Oh, when I make my games, it's complexity through simplicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are ready to get started, we can hop in on that.
Oh, yeah, I'm
You
so
guys?
ready.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have your little character write-ups we sent you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You get Odin out of here.
We've got, sorry,
We have a cat,
no,
our
sorry.
ancient, grumpy, toothless, one-eyed cat is yowling at us for food currently.
He's such a grunt.
I love
It's all
Thank
good.
you, love. Also, one of our other owners, Angela. Say hi.
And the cat Odin.
Hello, Angela. Well, I mean, I can take a little bit of time to just introduce the character. So I am a level 5 Dracoon Minotaur. I'm excited.
I am a level 5 assassin goblin. I'm really excited. I actually, when you guys told me I was a goblin, I started reading the lore behind them, and it's really in depth. It's really like just.
Oh, yeah.
It's really awesome.
Thank you.
I was surprised at like the full page that came up of like, you guys really went in on this one. It's
I have to say, as head of plot, like I run all of the story building in the game, and one of our writers, Katie, wrote the unicorns and the goblins, and that
They really
woman
scaled
goes
back for the goblins. Oh my god.
Oh, it's true. They scaled back a lot, but they are hands down one of our best writers, and they give everything, sometimes a bit much.
It's
Everything.
We had
That's amazing.
16 pages for the unicorns originally. So.
Oh.
what I like
Anyway,
about
sorry.
goblins is that they're not like traditional goblins. They sort of have this like artistic side and stuff that I think is really interesting.
I feel
Yeah,
like we're
we
getting
can get
that.
into that after too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Go back to the game.
Uni, why don't you introduce your character real quick before we hop in?
Oh, right. So I am a level 5 Mender Rainbow Elf. and I'm pretty excited, especially after the story we got earlier. Little information about the
There.
rainbows.
It's
But
pretty
also,
specific.
slight
best
warning.
races.
My internet has gone out multiple times, so if I'm a little quiet, it might be because my internet went out for like
You're
a few
just not there.
seconds. just a
No.
warning, yes.
Good to know.
As the DMs running the game, we don't mind that your healer is cutting in and out of internet.
That's fine.
Everything's fine,
All right. Well then, if y'all are ready, we can hop right in. After a long journey through the land of Elysian, you and your companions found your way to Asteria. After a short conversation with a friendly guard, you were directed to the Rusty Pony. It is a very large building at the center of the city that has clearly stood since the city's founding. Although it is clearly quite old, it has been well maintained, and your party eagerly steps through the door to find a rather quiet tavern. A middle-aged minotaur leans on the bar and lifts his head as you enter.
Hey, welcome to the Rusty Pony, travelers. Take a seat and I'll be right here, or right there.
Your group chooses a table, and just as you all sit down, the minotaur approaches and towers over you all.
All right, what do you want?
Water.
And that's to you guys.
Water, please.
Can I have some bread?
Got any ale?
Sounds like 3 rounds of ale and 3 servings of bangers and mash. Coming right up.
Thanks.
Suddenly, there's a rumbling from the floorboards below you,
Oh, no.
and a sudden crash from a door behind the bar. The minotaur walks over to the door and is knocked unconscious as the door blasts open. Three undead shamble through the doorway.
Oh no.
So typically we would have you guys with an actual map playing on Roll20, but I figure you guys have done probably enough role playing in your day that we don't have to do that. There are 3 undead, one of which is carrying a sword, kind of shambling along. He's got some ratty armor on him. There's one with a staff and a very ratty robe, and another one very similar, although the robe seems to be covered more in blood than the other one.
Oh my.
And they are coming for you.
Oof, like full speed.
What do you want to do?
Well, we should get them to roll initiative first.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, right.
Roll initiative.
Oh, 4.
Oh, I got a 4 too. No.
I got 9.
Wow.
Oof. Okay.
Some rolls, I see.
Oh god.
Oh, this will be easy. We get to go, then they get to go.
Yep. So, the first dude with his little sword is going to shamble his way up to the Minotaur and attempt a /5.
Can I
So,
parry it, or do I have to do that on my initiative, or?
see, I told you our game's easy.
Yep, you can just parry that.
I want to parry it. Use the one energy.
Okay.
He goes, he's very disappointed. So the next little guy, the less blood covered robed undead, I feel like he has a little bit more culture in his life. He's going to wiggle his fingers and hold out his staff to his comrades. They each lay their hands on the staff, and he says some words under his breath, and shimmering blue?
Yeah.
Blue light arcs across the staff and covers all of them. You guys know from your many, many travels that he has just cast arcane protection on himself and his companions.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
The last very bloody undead steps forward and raises his staff. A shot of an energy ball basically flies forward and hits your healer, the rainbow elf, with an arcane pin. Which means you are stuck on spot unless you have a response within your ability set to stop that, which you don't. Because we know.
Yeah, I was like, you would know. how dare.
And-
Okay.
Yeah, then it's over to you guys. What are you gonna do?
Would you like
Great.
us all to act on the same turn, or?
I mean, y'all rolled really bad.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah,
want,
you
you
know,
go right
Yeah, it was
ahead.
like a 9. I rolled 9 and then they both rolled a 4.
We're a little bit more of sticklers when we're doing like our actual game for turn order, but this is just for fun. So go ahead
Totally.
and tell us what you're gonna do.
I'd
very
like
fun
to
for
hit
us.
the really bloody one who pinned my healer.
Ooh, I like it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I rolled a...
So-
Yeah.
So to roll to attack, you'll just be swinging, and it's you roll d20 plus your level, so it's +5 for all you guys.
Okay.
And then Holly will roll the defense, which is just d20. So you have to beat her in a roll.
Okay, I got 12 plus 5 would be 17.
I got
Holly-
15.
Okay.
So that is 1 point of damage.
Who was attacking there?
That was me. Isn't
The
it?
Minotaur.
Yeah, isn't that doesn't
Oh, 2
deal
points then.
10 damage?
2 point. Oh, yes. Sorry, you have two-handed. Sorry, that was an aspect I forgot.
So you don't have to use the /10. If you just want to attack like that, you can just do that. And then you just swing for your weapon damage, which
Okay.
for a two-hander is 2, for anything else is 1.
Okay.
And that way you can keep your energy if you want, or you can spend your energy on your turn to deal those,
no,
the
they
attacks.
hurt my friends, so we'll do the energy one.
All right.
Okay.
So a /10 that was?
Yes.
Classically, as every Minotaur does. That's I mean, maybe not all of them. You forgot the arcane protection that just went rippling
Oh,
across.
Yeah. that
And
would
so
be me.
that is immediately shattered, but there appears to be no damage done to this undead.
You know, it
Next.
happens.
Next.
All right.
I want to use the chaos that Kitty just created and sneak behind the bar to get behind the enemy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
Oh, wait, are you...
Oh, do I have to roll for that?
Oh, yeah, you're still going.
Nope.
For which part? If you're using one of your abilities, you do not need to roll. Because we're in a combat, you can move however you would like. And back attack, they don't need to know you're there. You just need to be behind them. So
Okay.
you can easily move behind them, and you don't have to roll for that.
And
if you're
if you want to attack this turn, I'm fine with that too.
yeah.
And because
Okay.
you have 2 weapons, you can attack twice.
Oh. But I actually want to take this turn to create a trap because the arcane protection is still happening, right? So
Watch
Yep.
it.
Oh, I
Sounds
like it.
good. Where do you want to put the trap?
I want to put the trap like just behind the bar.
All right. I like it. Totally works. There it is.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Alright, I guess I will. I'm gonna cast Divine Protection on the Minotaur Kitty, since, I already know what she's gonna be doing, I'm pretty sure. And I feel like she might get smacked.
A little bit snack. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like she might get smacked, so I'm gonna cast it on her.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, because I'm a super nice DM, so, you know, a reminder of how their mender went about using his arcane protection. If you cast it on your own staff and have everyone touch it, which right now the rogue is behind the bar, but you and the Minotaur could absolutely both get protection from that one spell.
Oh.
Let's do that.
Okay,
I'll
yes,
reach
we'll
out.
do that.
Grab the
What
thing.
a, what a kind DM. Thank you.
I'm pretty nice.
Let people die on my table and not yours.
It's true. He's laughing. He's not lying.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you have divine protection on both of you. So keep that in mind if they swing at you. You don't have to block or take any action because your protection will protect you.
Awesome.
All right.
Beautiful.
So the warrior is going to shamble forward towards the mender because they appear to be pinned. And he's going to attempt a /5 again.
How dare.
But that's okay, because you just let him do it.
Oh, yeah. Because
Protection.
Yeah. I just
And he once again goes, because he's very, very frustrated.
Aw.
Their healer then steps forward and summons a little ball of energy, trying to attack the Minotaur. Now, this is just a typical attack, so you're going to have to roll defense, which is just a d20, not including your level.
8.
I rolled a bit more than an 8.
Yeah, that's fair.
Luckily, it's a mender, so you take 1 damage.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Who
can
are you
take
attacking?
The Minotaur.
Arcane protection.
Oh,
Or divine
you're
protection.
right.
oh.
And once again, the protection shimmers forward, shatters on the ground, but you are unharmed, and the undead, once again, they're getting very frustrated. You can't really tell because they can't really get all uppity about it, but they're not happy.
It's undead
Right.
kind of frustrated. I get it.
Yeah. We get it.
Yeah. So, while you were going behind the bar, young goblin, the bloody mage took notice of that and has decided to follow you. You can see that he is using some power with his hand. He's definitely getting a spell ready to go. And he is going to send a blast 5 your way at the same time he steps on your trap. So he will take 5 damage, but you now have a blast 5 coming your way.
Arcane protection! Right? It's still on me. No, or did I not
No,
get it?
I don't think you got it 'cause you're behind the bar.
You were behind
Yep.
the bar.
You're the only one that didn't get it.
Oh no, do I still get to roll for my life?
So this one is an ability. So
if you had a
there's
parry or a dodge, no, not for you.
No,
Yeah,
so it's-
sadly, you are going to take 5 damage directly to your
damage.
face.
I only have 7 HP!
But you have armor.
it's a big.
You do have armor.
Goes to armor first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oof. Well, I mean, it's a lot though. That's like my entire outfit just got shattered.
Well, I mean, that's an entirely different type of story.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, so that is them finished with their action. The bloody mage is looking pretty bloody. The other 2 are looking okay. What do you do, adventurers?
So would I be able to comprehend like that the spell that they cast it seemed to work similar to ours in that it only affected us for 1 turn? Would I be able to grasp that
yeah.
that might be something that's also happening over there?
Yeah, you would absolutely know that protection has been popped on them so that you can absolutely go and use your big abilities and beat the crap out of them.
Cool. Okay. Well, I will go and I will hit the one that tried to hit my healer again.
Yeah.
So I'll roll.
Okay.
I'm feeling so loved.
So that's 6 plus 5 is 11.
Oh,
Hot damn, you got through.
Cool.
Thank goodness for DMs having bad rolls.
These dice aren't treating me too well either. 6s and 4s. Oh, it's okay. So yeah, I will do the regular attack. The
All right.
Yeah.
okay.
So that is 2 damage directly to his face.
Yeah.
And he's part of his jaw just kind of like flops off. It's really gross.
Tongue rolls out. Ugh.
Yeah, the tongue immediately just and he moans at you, and it's he's not having a good time.
Hate to see it.
All right, next up.
Oh, I guess that's me. So I'm gonna attempt to backstab the mage that set off my trap last turn.
Absolutely. I'm just
And-
looking to see what he can do. Yeah, go ahead.
So I got a 9, or because
You don't have to roll for that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
it's an
see.
ability.
Okay, so abilities you never have to roll for.
Yeah, they're
That's
just
right.
something that you can do.
Yeah.
It's why you can also do one in response if they attack you. For example, a parry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess like the 5 energy is a pretty. How would you replenish energy in like a normal campaign?
So, actually, that's super good that you asked.
Yeah.
It actually applies very well to the LARP as well. So we went with the exact same system. It is a food-based system. So in other LARPs, you get your abilities and you go in, and once they are gone, they are gone. Depending on
Every
how
day.
long the weekend
Every
is, They do replenish every day. But in ours, you go into a fight, you can blow every single ability you have, then you come back to the tavern, you pay a silver, you sit down with your friends, and you are back to a full loadout for your next adventure.
I love that because it's just like rewards you for using your spells because you can just go back to the tavern and like
exactly
have a good time. It's
It
just
also-
like all positives.
Yeah.
It forces that whole Red Dragon Inn theme too of like you come back from an adventure and you all kind of share a pint together and talk about the adventure you had and have a good little role play moment too.
Yeah.
Camaraderie of it all.
Because that is the best part of LARP, hands down.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the tabletop, it's literally you go to the Rusty Pony, which is the tavern that if anyone makes it out to our game, when we can actually do live games.
Yeah, we even got a
we actually
rusty
have the
sign.
Rusty Pony, and the Minotaur that you met is a NPC. It's a very big character in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
His name is Kurkar Vigili, but you guys didn't really get to introduce yourselves before you got knocked unconscious.
Oh,
But getting back to the
Thanks.
game, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Nick does voices very well. Getting back to the game, as you sneak up behind this bloodied mage, you leap up onto his back because he is definitely a bit taller than you because you're a goblin, and you plunge your dagger deep into his back, and he lets out a moan that slowly turns into a gurgle as his body just collapses in front, like underneath you, and he sprawls out on the floor, and there's
this is
just
PG,
ooze.
you creep.
Sorry, I'm descriptive. And congratulations, you guys just killed your first bad guy.
Awesome.
All right. Next up.
Yes. I'm still stuck in my spot, right?
Yes, you are.
Like I can't. Okay, so if I
do have
cast
a way to
divine
break that.
freedom on myself, I can move, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to do that and back away.
Perfect.
Good plan.
I love
I
it.
need to stay alive to heal my team later.
Yes. Very good idea.
Okay.
All right. So I think that leaves Kitty then. Yes.
Oh, I already hit
Everyone's
something,
out.
so I think it's
Yeah.
yours
Oh.
turn.
Oh yes.
Kill them,
Oh,
Holly. I mean, oh yes, no, there's, good story.
Wow. All right. Well, Duder with a sword is going to notice that his companion has turned into goo underneath this raging goblin assassin, and he's going to turn and shamble over and try and hit you with a /5.
The assassin, yeah, I don't think... Roxy, you don't have anything to...
Oh yeah, I don't think she has
that,
any.
I don't have anything.
The silence of the uh-oh.
So, regrettably, you're all standing there together, watching in awe as your assassin friend had just destroyed an enemy, as another one comes up and just slashes them across the arm, and it's horrific, and you're all very shook.
Yeah, I'm almost dead, guys. I just want to let you guys know. This is
I got
in-
you. I got
like
you.
a
Important
close
to
shave
know.
with that.
Little
So
You're looking a little bloody. I see.
Yep.
the adrenaline full pumping.
All right. So then the not so bloody robed undead dude is going to shuffle over to the Minotaur and attempt another attack. So let's see. Oh, 10?
No, I got a natural 20, so...
No.
No.
No, that's a... No.
So he's got his sword and he's getting ready to try and stab you, and one of the little bits of cartilage in his wrist just kind of pops, and so his hand just goes. He drops his sword. He's once again groaning because he's very disappointed in himself. And it's back to you guys.
I'm gonna go and slash that the one who just almost knocked down my friend.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. So that was a /10, yes?
Yeah, /10.
Well, hot damn. He slowly turns his head, taking note that there is an attack incoming, just in time for your two-handed blade to come down right at the neck and cleave him in two as he crumbles to the floor, and being undead, even though he is even more dead now, he still lets out a because he's really disappointed with how this is going, and he is off the map. He is a dead dude. What's next?
Oof. So I'm gonna crawl out from behind the bar and go, "Oi, Uni! I need a heal over here."
I will heal Roxy with my heal 5.
I think that's a good choice.
Since,
Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent. There's no issue with doing it. You are healed immediately.
Alright. Sounds good.
And I think the assassin still has an attack they can make.
Oh. So with my renewed vigor, I run up and I backstab. Is there only one?
The staff guy?
Yeah, there's only one left.
There's only one dude.
Peace was never an option.
Not with the undead.
And so once again, the spunky little goblin in your party rushes forward and defeats another foe that crumples to the ground. And just in time for them all falling to your blades, Kirkar wakes up suddenly behind the bar.
What's going on?
Hi.
You okay there?
Oh, I hit my horn. Oh, that was a hard. Hey, there's some. Oh no, they're dead. Oh no, they're double dead. Hey, good work. You guys don't have to pay tonight. Here, just pull up a chair.
Awesome.
And you adventurers spend the rest of your evening swapping stories with one of the oldest current residents of this
that's
area, and get to know what it is to be welcomed home into Asteria.
That was
There you go.
wonderful.
The end.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
Yay, the DC's won.
So cute.
That was fantastic.
Oh,
Good
that's
job,
awesome.
guys.
Well,
That was
thank
Your
you so
descriptions
much.
are great.
Oh.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yep. Yeah,
that
that's
was-
basically what it's like.
Fantastic. A great, fun little time. And it
It
leads
is.
us right into our main topic for today. So we want to hear your experiences, both of yours experiences with LARP. So I'll pose the first question to you. You mentioned it a little bit. You kind of said LARP is like the next evolution beyond D&D. So what are the main differences between D&D and LARP, other than the fact that one is sitting and the other one is not sitting?
For sure. Yeah, I can speak to that one. I have been playing D&D for, I just did the math, for 21 years. I started with 2nd edition back in like junior high.
Wow, you're old.
Yeah, right? The main difference I find is the level of immersion. Because when you're making your D&D characters, you kind of have to think of like what stats you're putting into them and how you can use those stats and make it like a proper build of a character to try and fit the background of it. Whereas I find with proper LARP characters, you kind of make the LARP character around yourself and kind of use your own personality to put a backstory behind it, because there are no character stats, there's no sheets or anything like that. It's like if you're a marathon runner, then you have an advantage in LARP. If you go to Nick's spar and learn some of the real steel sword fighting, you're going to be better than a lot of the other people out there. Yeah.
Makes a difference.
So, like, there are things in LARP to kind of equalize it for everybody, but it's far more immersive because you actually have to put in a lot more footwork that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're literally in the moments.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're talking about being in a tavern. You're in a tavern as your
Right.
character facing these problems or this role play. So the immersion is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Do people sometimes get into LARP because they're interested in the combat, and then they realize that this whole other fun side exists?
Oh God. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. I definitely went the other way with that. Like, I got into medieval combat first with a small group called the Calgary Medieval Arms Society, where we were like it was really kind of anal about the like 100% historical accuracy, and I hated it.
Yeah.
But the lessons were great. And LARP was always our line in the sand because, you know, that's what the geeks do. We're not geeks. We're running around in full armor in Lindsay Park on a Saturday afternoon.
That was always my thing, too. I was like, I may be a nerd, but I will never LARP.
Yeah.
And then Nick and I started dating, and he brought me to Alliance LARP. And I fell in love to the point where here we are today.
Yeah. And that's, I will say, people a lot of times with the combat or with the magic side of it or just a love of D&D, they will come into LARP because they've heard of the things that kind of get your toes in the water, but they'll stay at LARP for the deeper role play and the deeper narrative that you kind of shape throughout the years.
One thing that I've always been interested in is how does exactly like magic fit into the combat system, or is it mostly like sword based combat?
Do we have any of them down here? Do you want to run upstairs and grab one as a quick
Where are
example? My LARP bucket right at the top of the stairs.
Okay. Yeah, you explain, I'll go get visuals.
So, yes, we have visuals for our presentation today. So, obviously, magic plays a pretty big role in almost any LARP, a really big role in ours, but Alliance as well has quite a bit of magic, and the way that we get around that is we use packets. So they are little pieces of fabric that are full of bird seed in case they get lost, because we don't want to be putting anything unhealthy into the environment. So you literally throw a little packet of bird seed at someone else. And if you land, if it hits the person, then yep, you've hit them with that spell. It's also what we use for arrows as well. My character at Alliance LARP has... she uses archery almost exclusively because she's a rogue, and anything from a bow and arrow is considered a back attack, so I hit for more with my bow than I hit with anything else. And yeah, I've always got like fistfuls of these little packets, and it's actually really funny. When you have them, you have to have a lot of them, obviously, especially if you're doing arrows. And if you're just purely a caster, you want to have as many as possible. So what we do, because they have little tails to them with the fabric, is we take our hands and we squish them in between our fingers so that you've got the bulbs on top, and it's called cauliflowering. And that's how we hold them. And I've seen some pretty impressive cauliflowers over the years. And you guys can't see it right now, but we're holding up a packet. And yeah, basically cauliflowering works like that. And you can hold your bow and have a bunch of packets behind you. And yeah, we practice them by trying to turn off light switches in the house.
Yeah.
So we just sit and we just aim, and that's how we get our aim going really well. And Nick also just handed me his sword, which we use the safest thing possible within our game when it comes to combat. And these are made with a hard core, but a lot of foam on the outside. And the one that we're holding up right now is actually a copy of Geralt of Rivia's sword. Ooh. And it's pretty badass looking. So it looks pretty realistic once you get out there.
Yeah, because that's a question I always get, because you'll always see like the guys with the duct tape pool noodles.
Yeah.
Pool noodles. And that is... Those work for sure, but like as soon as you start getting the money, people start upgrading their kit, which makes it look better and better, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And is a kit is it like your costume, or is it like costume and like weapons? Like what does that entail?
Yes.
Yes. So there is always an argument in LARP about whether it's better to have a costume that people can recognize or a wardrobe that your character would wear. One of which is obviously more, or can be more expensive.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, Nick is actually the king of wardrobes.
Used to be.
Used to be.
My new character now.
Your new character. I mean, your new character is just a jerk. He's poor. He leeches off of my character.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to be.
Yeah, right.
Poor.
Our characters are best friends in the Alliance LARP, so it's pretty fun. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I'm sorry. We got really excited.
So costuming. Tell me a little bit more about like what you guys do. So beyond just like, well, let's just talk about all of it. The weapons, the attire, all of it.
Sure. It's very similar to cosplay, except that you need to have the added thought of durability. Because that's a lot of times with cosplay, it's like you're making costumes and stuff that will last for a con, they'll last for a weekend, or if you're really stinking good at it, that'll last for a couple of years, so you can do photo shoots and that kind of stuff. And with LARP, it's something that you're going to be running around in, being super physical, you know, going through the bush on your hands and knees if you need to, doing a bunch of combat in and that kind of stuff. So
falling in the mud.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like there's a story there.
Yes,
It's actually not one of our stories. It's we have a friend who plays with us,
Zaymot's
Chris.
Hole.
Zaymot's Hole is the story. We have a friend who we're all very, very fond of, and he's superb to roleplay with, and he goes all out for his costuming. And one event, he was walking through one particular area where we go for Alliance LARP, and he lost his shoe because the mud was so deep.
He went like high thigh into
Yeah.
the mud,
Oh, no.
and his boot didn't come back.
And so that one particular area where we LARP is called Zaymot's Hole, because his character's name is Zaymot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
But yeah,
cosplay,
that's...
sorry,
yeah,
in cosplay
sorry, go
you
ahead.
always have to have like an intentional step where you like add weathering to like your props and stuff. But with LARP, it'd be so fun to just see over time as your stuff just becomes more and more weathered.
The last month we played, I was super excited because my chainmail finally started rusting after 3 years. So yes, exactly.
Yeah, and like I have, my character has 2 sets of armor that she wears, and they're starting to really show, you know, a year's worth of being a rogue and crawling around and getting really dirty on missions. And I don't even, I mean, it's kind of gross, but I don't wash my stuff when I get back because I just throw it back on when we get back out there.
Natural, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's functionality, I should say, durability and functionality. Because there are a lot of people that like make amazing looking outfits, but they can't fight in them because it's like not movable very easily and stuff like that. So they usually have a bad time because they've spent a bunch of money and a bunch of time on something that's not going to work.
Yeah, or it's going, it's just going to break, and then that's so upsetting when you see someone who's worked really hard and something breaks. That's why actually one of our other businesses that we run through Shooting Star, through Zed Games, which is our big company, is a leatherworking business because we make a lot of the props and costumes for everybody. We make frogs for swords and stuff. And
scabbards.
And scabbards and like all sorts of stuff. But it's great because when Anthony and I go up to event, if someone pops a rivet or breaks part of their costume, we actually have all of our equipment there to fix it on site so they can just keep going.
That being said, so it isn't also intimidating with that kind of cost, we always tell people that are interested in LARP that want to get into it, like, how do I make my costume? Take $30, go to Value Village, and just buy from there what you need and change it however you need to.
Value Village is the ultimate place to go shopping for costuming.
Then you can figure out what you want to spend your money on later on.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I guess-
character's aesthetic grows throughout the years, too.
Yeah. You could always just start as like, oh, I start kind of like a peasant. And then as you get better, like, and your costume gets better, you can just like boil that
Exactly.
into...
That's exactly
That's
it.
kind of
Like,
cool.
my character, her name is Solveig Therian, and when she came in to LARP last year, she was wearing hand-me-down armor from Nick, and like it looked ratty as all get out, and there was no semblance of
When
like
was your
this is
character,
what
though?
this
That,
is.
like, that
It's
street rat.
I was a
kinda
street
style.
rat coming into the realm that we're in and running from the law. Shh. But by the end of the year, we've actually just recently got to play at Alliance, and it was like so good. We've been
First time
dying
back from
to get out
COVID.
there.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of myself in our cabin, and it was really it was really exciting to see how much she has grown as a character, because now she actually married into a noble house. She's a member of member of the Home Guard, which is like the military, and she's really made a name for herself, and the aesthetic really matches that as well now. And so it's very rewarding after a year to come back and see how badass my character got.
That's super interesting to see how like things evolve and change throughout the many events that you do. One thing I'm curious about is how the events themselves work. So you mentioned it's usually a full weekend.
For Alliance, it is. We're working towards that point as well. We would be at that point now, but COVID happened, so everything got set way back.
Yeah.
Our events will be a singular day to start, and then we'll be working to the weekends. But the way game starts is you show up, you bring all your stuff in, you register, so just let everyone know you're there. For logistical reasons and also just for safety, it's good to know who's on site. After everyone has spoken to logistics, gotten any equipment or anything like that they need, everyone gets in a costume, and then it's game on. And it is all 100% in character after that point. We'll have things like mods going out. So basically, you'll be sitting in the Rusty Pony talking to Kirkar, and he'll be like, oh, well...
Hey, what are you guys doing around here?
And sometimes he'll tell you about an adventure that needs to be
Did you hear
had.
about these rats in my basement? They're just bugging me. You guys want to go kill them?
And so we work really hard to always make sure there's things to do, but we also try and leave a lot of time for roleplay because that's really what makes LARP special, in my opinion. It's all well and good to be going out on adventures and getting loot and fighting bad guys, but sitting around the fire after a big fight, those are the moments that really shine for me with LARP, is being in character and talking to everybody.
There's a reason why adventuring parties, even in D&D, have a good amount of people.
Yeah.
So what is the best story, and I'll pose this to both of you, that you've had throughout your time in LARP?
Oh, that's a big question.
I'll
Go ahead.
go first because I've been LARPing a lot shorter time than Nick. It's a little bit of a long story, but I can sum up pretty well. So my character Solveig, she came into the Lux, which is where Alliance is currently situated for their story. And she was a criminal, came to the Lux for a fresh start, and through lots of things happening, started to feel quite a bit of responsibility to the people there and wanting to help make everything better. And we were in the realm of hedonism.
I knew this was going to be the story.
Well, it leads into the big
Yeah.
story. But she and one of her then friends, Saren, offered up their lives so that everyone else could finish up what needed to be done.
How
Because
did you
in
end
LARP
your
you
life
can
with your friend?
hush up. Because you can die multiple times in LARP before your character permanently dies. There is a reincarnation, not reincarnation, but resurrection that happens. So I was still on free deaths at that point, which was fine. So he and I gave our lives so that they could finish the ritual. And no, we're trying to keep this PG, so I can't tell you how we died in the realm of hedonism. I'll leave that to all of you. But that started Saren and Solveig falling in love, which is a big thing that happens in LARP. A lot of people get the fun roleplay of characters falling in love with each other, and it can be really nice to watch. But his and my characters fell in love. And after a little bit of time, we decided, because things are so dire in the Lux and people are dying all the time, we might as well get married because we may not have time later. So we decided to get married, and we told a couple people, and Alliance Plot decided to run with it because there was one very big bad guy. His name is Dam. He is a vampire, and he has screwed over the heroes, basically, at Alliance LARP for many years. But he was in a position to actually help us. And so when Saren was not there, the month before our wedding, Dam came into town, and Solveig decided to go and talk to him. And I invited him to our wedding the next month, which was not a popular decision because he is like the biggest, baddest dude ever.
He's a vampire.
He's a vampire, but
You invite the evil overlord to your wedding.
You invited a vampire.
I know. But that being said, he was in a position where he could very much help us get this done that would save this goal that we've been working towards of closing all the bad realms. He was in a position to help us do that. And so I wanted to see if that was going to be an avenue we could take. And so invited him to the wedding because, polite. And then our wedding happened, which was beautiful. It was an absolutely gorgeous wedding. It was really fun. Babe, who is Nick's character, walked me down the aisle. And we had a whole ceremony and everything.
I
and
grumbled
yes,
the whole time.
You did grumble the whole time. And Dam did show up. and he brought back a character that was an old friend of some of the oldest players that he had turned undead. And it was a blow. Everyone was really hurt. And then at our reception for our wedding, he gifted my husband a belt and a knighthood under him.
Because he was a duke.
Because he's a duke. Dam is a duke.
For Duke Arturus Mortis.
Yes. So my husband, we're nobles. We're part of a noble house. Was offered a gift from another noble at his wedding, so he couldn't say no. And so he accepted, which put us in line with Dam. And after all of the drama that ensued from that, and our wedding being a rather dramatic and upsetting affair, in truth, the next day, Saren was told he had to give up the belt or leave and be executed and then leave. And so he gave up the belt, which had a spell on it that shattered his spirit. And so he died in front of me the day after our wedding. Which was hard. And at that point, I was very much in character, so I was pretty devastated. He did resurrect at the circle, which was fine, but I was still very upset with what had happened. And the next night, I was walking with one of the non-fighting NPCs having a chat in the darkest of night, and all of a sudden, Dam rifted in to our town. And so I informed one of the people within my house, Mal, to get the NPC back to the fire where it would be safe, and I went and approached him on my own. I did get attacked, which he immediately told them to stop, because I was like, whoa, that's not cool. I invited you to my wedding. Quit being a dick. And so he offered, I offered to give my life if he would serve and help the Lux. Oh, shut up. I'll do what I want. And he did agree to it, but under conditions that I would come and serve him forever. And which my husband was not happy about. And I went and discussed it with the other higher-ups within the community. And in that moment decided that under instruction from a character that means a lot to me, Jin, that the easy way is never the right way. And that this was an easy out. And so we had to stand against this. And so I walked straight up to Dam. And I told him that we would never help him, we would never stand with him, and we would fight him until the end. And then I attacked him, and we fought off his goons, and he left. And after they had left, I turned around, and after all the drama from the weekend of our wedding, people had been quite harsh towards our household, and my husband specifically. And so I gave a speech, a very angry, rousing speech that stopped everyone in their tracks, including one of the NPC bad guys that was still there fighting, about how we always stand with the Lux. House Therian always will, always has, and there will be no more questioning of our morals or where we stand. And one of my favorite other characters, Anson, actually yelled, "For the Lux!" afterwards, and everyone cheered. And then, in all of the silence that ensued, we suddenly heard, too normal from the NPC trying to start the fight again, because he had stopped to listen to my speech. And that was my best moment. Hands down.
I mean, I'm feeling that, and I'm just hearing the story, so...
It was my best moment of roleplay, and... I'm actually choking up thinking about it, so I'm just going to pass it over to Nick.
So actually, yeah, there are interesting amounts of times that, like, even LARPers will make fun of other LARPers that, like, tear up and get emotional. And then, like, I had a character who, when he died permanently, and there was a funeral for him, and he was a northern barbarian, so there was a pyre for it and everything. And we had people who were making fun of other people for crying that were at this funeral crying themselves. And it's interesting to see how emotionally invested some people can get in that kind of stuff. But as for favorite moment, mine would probably be the character before my current one. Mm-hmm. So Holly never met this character.
Yeah. I hear about him all the time, though.
It's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
So I was playing this character who was, they're known as Terry Nor in that game. They're kind of like satyrs. They're a type of elf. They have small horns, and they're all about freedom and that kind of stuff. And he was a wandering troubadour. So he would go adventuring and tell stories. Eventually he found the sides of magic and went up in the system and magic that way, and he had this entire narrative around him that was it had its ups and downs. I won't get into it, it's very long. But once that narrative was finished, I knew that personally I was finished with the character myself, so I wanted to retire him. So when all of the adventurers, we moved cities to what Holly was referring to as the Lux. And the Lux, before we moved there, was beset upon by the forces of evil, which in our game are some evil dragons and stuff like that. And so the way that I retired my character is that he cast a ritual in the middle of the city that raised this magical fairy wood around the city and encapsulated the city itself in this huge magical fey forest. And with him as the guardian amongst it. And I couldn't play the character anymore because he evolved into this greater fey kind of lord over this, became a very neutral person about it. And if you ask any of the plot at Alliance, it's, oh no, that character is dead, we don't talk about it, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And then when you see the writing of them, they acknowledge that he's there, but nobody wants to talk about it. And there's a lot of the players who used to be his friends that will talk about meeting up with him.
It's still Sigurt's forest.
Yeah, it's whispers of my old character that has kind of run through the lives of everybody else.
Unless you ask Jin, who is in real life, one of my best friends. In game, one of Solvay's deepest relationships. If you ask Jin about Sigurd, it's, he's an asshole. I hate that guy.
But he's also the one that's always coming out of the woods.
Yeah.
Just speaking with the old character. And it's that kind of stuff that you won't find in the tabletops, the D&D and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. At least not as easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be it.
Such powerful emotional moments.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by the level of intensity emotionally just going up, and the immersion is so much more.
Oh, the tears that happen are so real.
Yeah.
It's so real, and we're always a little bit our characters, and it's something that we get to bring into our real lives that, on the days where you're not feeling as brave, you remember that you play Solveig Therian in...
Good catch.
Yeah, that was about to be a big swear.
And Babe Mallet Knocker.
Oh, babe. And, it helps you get through those moments sometimes in real life, because the things that you learn about yourself when you're out there are very, very
It's one thing
real.
I'm fighting lately. My current character is so much hotter than I am, and it just makes me mad.
I think you're just as hot, but I do agree, babe. It's got something... Well, it's the accent.
And the jacket. It's the jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that there's anything more we could discuss that would just leave that nice end note. So I'm going to take us into our rankings here for tonight. And
Absolutely.
It brings
Sure.
it full circle into back to the races in the Shooting Star LARP. So as always, we'll have you guys go first, and we're going to get you to rank your races.
Separately or together?
Let's do separately. I have a feeling there might be some contention between you two.
like top 3 kind of thing? Something is easier?
Top 3 or all of them?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. 1 to 10.
I'm into it.
All right, you first, Nick.
No, you.
Oh, you jerk. Okay.
Uno cards, baby.
So, number 1 for me would be Dark Fae. Oh, shut up. he's making faces at me. Dark Fae, Orcs, Minotaurs, Dwarves, Goblins, Chimerans, Unicorns, Fae, Elves, and Humans.
Okay.
That would be mine. I'm also the person who wrote the backstory to the Dark Fae.
And the orcs.
And the orcs.
Yeah.
Well, you and I wrote orcs and minotaurs together.
Yeah, no, that's true. For me, I like the narratives of all of our races, like, as a microcosm of each other.
We've got the list pulled up in front of us because we're both like struggling to make the decision.
Honestly, for me, it's probably unicorn, goblin, chimeran, minotaur, dark fae, orc, fairy, dwarf, elf, human. They're boring.
Wow.
Awesome. And going around over here, how about you, Uni?
Me. Okay. So I have 1 chimerans, 2 dark fae, and then I have where did my list go? Hold on, it closed. I left my phone open for too long. Okay. I have unicorns, minotaurs, elves, fae, dwarves, goblins, orcs, humans. My order.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Roxy.
All right. So I kind of ranked it on what I would be most likely to LARP as if I ever got the chance.
Yes, get
That's what
that
I
thought in your
also
head.
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mine was Minotaur, because I don't see Minotaur as an option that often. Well, at least in D&D it's not an option. And I'm a sucker for like horns. So
Yeah.
then I went with Chimeran, because I feel like he's so fun to do like a cat girl or something.
Right?
Also, I'm like way too into anime and I'm a bit of a weeb, so it kind of
Checks out.
plagues me.
So are all of we.
And then I chose elf, fae, unicorn, dark fae, dwarves, orc, goblin, and humans.
Awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
Poor humans, but
Humans always come in last. It's
Yeah.
That's fair.
Boring. Though we have pretty cool humans.
We play humans in Alliance, so
Yeah, and I also kind of went that route of what I would be most likely to play as well. I also had Minotaurs at the top just because it looks so fun. And I personally, I've seen the things that Holly and everybody makes at the company. So having some pair of those horns, oh my goodness, I want
we
them
do have
so
a
bad.
business of making prosthetic horns as well,
Yeah.
and they are hands down the nicest
speaking of
ones
which,
that
I
can
need
be
a new
made.
horn.
It's a plug. Yeah, I need to make you a new horn, but they're the lightest and the most durable. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I love it. And then I had Dark Fae, dwarves, chimerans, unicorns, fae, humans, elves, orcs, and goblins. Now, goblins are at the bottom just because of my D&D bias. But hearing about them today might have changed things a bit.
Fair enough. So, I'd like to add one more ranking, if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Because we did, when we were making our races, we polled our Facebook group, which was about 200 people. And just, I can't remember the whole order, but it was unicorns first, then dark fae, and then it was minotaur, then goblins.
Yeah, as the most popular.
Yeah. So I expect that's what we'll mostly see at game.
Yeah,
I can see
Which-
that, yeah.
is going to be fantastic to see. We're so excited. We're hoping that January.
Oh, we are officially launching our game because we're doing tabletop now, and it's free if people want to play. You also get to play the actual character you want to play at Real LARP. You also get the experience that comes with it, and any loot you get with it, you get when we go to Real LARP.
Yeah.
And then in January, we're going to be launching our season 1, whether we have to do tabletop or if we can do in person.
Yeah. We're sincerely hoping to do it in person, but the tabletop will still be an option. We just didn't, when we did the tabletop, we didn't roll out the plot that we had written for the original opening of game, because we wanted to wait. Yes, Nick wrote an entire plot. I will be actually running one of our tabletop tables tomorrow night. I will be streaming it as well on my stream channel. So if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome. It's Solvay89. which is my LARP character name because I'm that nerdy.
That was a cute plug.
Yeah, thanks.
Solveig?
Yeah, Solveig.
And then 8, 9.
Awesome.
8, 9, yeah. So that will, if you guys want to get a look at what that's like, and of course, if you guys want
play on the table.
Yeah, if you guys would be interested, we would love to have you guys come and play. We play once a month. There are currently 4 DMs running tables.
But we'll
Nick
get more
and I are
DMs
2 of
if we
them.
need them too.
Yeah, and we would love to see some people, and you do get the added benefit. It was actually Nick's idea to make sure that anyone who comes and plays the tabletop, which is free, gets the benefit of bringing that experience and loot into the actual game once we get that rolling.
Which is a thank you to our audience, because them supporting us is way more important than like us making profit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Their time and their enjoyment is far more important to us than their money.
Yeah.
So.
And say it's like, it's really a passion project then.
Very, very much so.
In every way.
Yeah. And we also, I know we're coming up to the end here. We would very much like to offer the 3 of you, once we get our first live game going, where we're actually doing in-person LARP, we would like to extend a free first game to you guys. So you guys can come out and play for free once we're going live, because we'd love to show you guys what we've built. And yeah,
That
you
is
guys need more
incredibly-
players.
That's incredibly generous. Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And if you guys want to come in with some extra stuff and some extra in-game knowledge, come on the tabletop.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to like give some free stuff away.
No,
Like,
I'm not-
please.
No, I'm saying like all of our tabletop players get to come into game with some some extra knowledge that the other players aren't going to have.
Yeah.
Because we're spilling a couple secrets within the tabletop that no one else knows yet. So it's a good way to come in a little bit higher level and kind of being one of the big tough guys around town, because you know what you're doing.
That's awesome. Oh, go
I do
ahead.
have one quick question just about how plot works. Are there like historians that after a LARP session will sort of write down what happened? Or how does that work to like, how do they narratively advance the plot while also allowing people to have agency? Like, it seems like a lot to navigate.
You know what? It's a very, very complex part of running a LARP. I am head of plot for Shooting Star, and I walked into that with no experience of being head of plot for anything, so it was a big learning curve. Luckily, Nick was at one time the head of plot for Alliance, so he's helped me out a lot. Basically, what we did is we wrote roughly, we've got about 5 years worth of plot written right now. So we have big plot things that need to happen. We have that overarching story. We don't have a set deadline for them to happen, because that does need to happen organically. So we start with the big stuff, then we go down to medium stuff that has to happen, and then we just write a bunch of smaller stuff that can tie into stuff, the different stories, move the story along. Go ahead, Nick.
We also believe in yes and plot.
Yes.
So it's one way that you keep character or players' agency in an evolving storyline like that is never shutting down a player for an idea that they have. Like, they're there, they're paying for the experience to be there, and when they do something in a way that you don't expect or something like that, then they're telling you the game that they want to play. So we kind of believe in, like, yes, and this happens. So, like, you go ahead and do that. Whatever happens, because that happened, is going to happen, and that will help evolve the narrative around you and everybody else, too.
True. And we do actually have a LARP historian. I think he would be so touched to hear it called that. He is, his official title within the company is Head of Lore. And so that's our friend Matt Musselman. And he is fantastic. He's actually just signed on as the 5th owner for Zed Games. But he is basically in charge of making sure that there is no continuity errors. And so every time something happens, he writes it down and he keeps track of it all.
And all the history that players don't see in the rulebook, we've got about 3,000 years of civilized history and about 3 billion years of planetary history that we've all balanced within, like, Newtonian physics.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long, wild
Magic
ride.
and all.
Yeah, even our magic is like, there's scientific reasoning behind why magic works in our world, and that's vastly to do with Nick and Matt sitting together, drinking
And
coffee
noodling.
and talking about how it would work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got all of it there. And for all that everyone sees in the rule book there, how many pages is our rule book, Nick?
189.
So for those 189 pages that everyone has free access to, there is at least 10 times that written in other places just for plot and lore, just to keep everything in order and in mind. So
It's fun.
it's complex.
Makes a living, breathing world for people to walk into.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm so happy. I can definitely say I'm so excited for January in whatever form it may be. So,
Hey, me too.
so do you guys have any social medias you want to throw out there real quick?
Nick? His eyes just got really big.
You can check us out on Facebook.
Currently, Facebook
Yeah, best one
and
is
the
Facebook.
website.
We've got our website, which is shootingstarlarpyyc.com.
Yeah.
The Facebook page, you can just search Shooting Star LARP. We've got a page and a group. Feel free to join the group. You can also get to our Discord from there. Then we've got some stuff for Zed Games as well. It's like beyond this project, we also have a board game or a deck building game that's going to be coming out on Kickstarter to do with the whole Shooting Star world, which is a game that we can play at your home with your friends or in the LARP itself,
Yeah.
which will be a lot of fun. And then we have another board game after that, and we're rolling out a full tabletop book rather than the supplemental one that we've been using. We're hoping that one will be done by the end of the year, and we're going to release it for free for everybody that wants to play with our rule set.
Yeah. As a thank you to the community.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been lovely to have you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah.
It's kind of reinvigorated us too after COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just for everybody listening, all of the links that has been mentioned today will be in our show notes. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you, Nonsense Gamers, for joining in our conversation. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next week with new episodes every Saturday. Boop. Boop. Boop, boop. And I think Eunice's internet
Eunice is gone.
I think that's dead. Awesome. All right, that's a wrap.
Woohoo.